All right, everybody, we're live. We're live again. It's been a while. But we're back. I'm going to do a quick live stream here. We'll do some trading, or at least hopefully do some trading. Find some potential setups. We'll go over the markets, and throughout everything, you have the opportunity to ask questions. Now, let me quickly spread everywhere that I am live. Of course. And I was lying. It's not been that long since we've been live. I mean, I think last week Thursday or last week Friday I actually was live as well. So we're starting off the stream with lying. It's a great start. But how's everyone doing? Is everyone having a good week so far? It's been a volatile week to say the least. I mean, let's be honest. But at least at this point of time, I see my portfolio moving up again, which is always great to see. Before that, it was a little bit. I mean, Sunday, Monday, it was quite tough. I mean, I had a couple of moments where I thought, all right, well, if we're going to drop down below this level, I'm going to cut my losses right there, and it's over, and we'll see. But in the end, did not do so, and ultimately quite happy that I didn't. I mean, at this point of time, the portfolio is looking quite good still, so that's great. But how's everyone doing? Let me quickly. I've sent everywhere that we're live right now. Let me quickly check out the chat. Welcome everybody. Welcome to the stream. Welcome Matic. Welcome Kanoi. Welcome Barbie. Welcome Evie. Welcome Nunu. Nunu, are you still here? You were here a little early. But yeah, I mean, well, I'm not sure if we're going to be doing some live trading. Hopefully, I'll just go over my trading routine, and we'll talk about some different positions that we can take, and we'll go over the markets. I mean, at this point of time, there's no major news I think that we need to know about. Quickly looking. Amazon halts fleet redeployment after delivery providers complain. Irrelevant. Treasury 5-year yield falls below 3.68. That's great. Lowest since April. That's good news. Trump mulls offering role to Major Adams in administration. China announces anti-dumping duties on optical fiber from United States. Yeah, all right. Well, news, but nothing relevant for the markets. And at this point of time, the markets are actually still looking pretty good. If you take a look at the S&P 500, it's doing decent. It's been stable. It opened higher, so that's great, and it's been stable afterwards. Volatility index has been decreasing right here. Gold, though, is increasing. Gold is doing great, which is amazing to see. I mean, in the last week, gold is up how much? More than most altcoins. Last week, gold is up 5.9%, and that looks like this, right? So that's traditional assets for you. But no, I mean, the markets. Look, what I said in my middle of the day market update is still very much true. The entire market is quite correlated. Some altcoins have started to kind of decorrelate from Bitcoin. That's good. That's what you want to see. If like in bullish market circumstances, this is what you see, right? You see different altcoins in different categories doing different things. I still do think that Bitcoin is quite important at this point of time, but it's not as important anymore as it was over the course of the weekend going into the beginning of this week. So that's great. Got quite a lot of volume coming into the price as well. So in general, decent market circumstances to trade. But we'll do a full market screening in a moment. Let me quickly check out some more chats for now while people are slowly streaming into the stream. Daniel, for you, I will say something about Cardano, of course. Although I think there's a little bit of Cardano beef in the chat. I think my last analysis on Cardano is still valid. To be fair, if you look up my last video on Cardano, I'm pretty sure that it's still valid. But we'll look at that. Pendle, we'll take a look at. Look, Although I talked about this morning, I made a video on that, and so far I think we have seen what I predicted. I'm not certain. But Ondo, indeed, it launched, not much has happened, but Ondo launched a new product indeed. But it's not really novel, unfortunately. But still, I mean, it's great that they developed it. And maybe it's actually going to do some volume. Then it could be great for Ondo. But at this point of time, I think it's more likely that we're going to get a bit of a sell the news effect. But there's nothing wrong with that. Navid, welcome to the stream. Rob, welcome to the stream. Flawless Arena, welcome to the stream. Naji, welcome to the stream. Who do we have? Suraf, welcome to the stream. Mr. Braibroiki, welcome to the stream. How can I forget you, man? How can I forget you? Hessel, we can definitely look at Hedera. Definitely. I bought that, right? So we have to. Bera, we can take a look at that as well. All right. Well, let me do a quick poll in the chat. Can I do that? Yeah, all right. So what do you want first, right? Requests, all right? So do you first want me to just go over some coins that are requested in the chat, or first trade routine, all right? And actually looking for some trade setups together, so that maybe you can add those to your watch list as well, and maybe you can trade them. Could be very valuable. To be fair, my personal preference is going to the trade routine. But we'll see, all right? I just started the vote. I'm very, very interested to see what you all think. So first, requests or trade routine. Then we'll just go over all the things that I think are interesting. We'll look at the charts and we'll try to draw up some potential setups. Kronos, we'll take a look at. I'll just look when we're actually getting to the requests, and maybe we'll start with that. Who knows? You decide. It's democratic, unfortunately. Then I'll just go over everything, right? Pepe Ramirez, welcome to the stream. Put on mascara, too bad. Tool, welcome to the stream. Ideas for XRP. Trade ideas at this point of time, no. No, I mean, usually when I see a trade idea on XRP, to be fair, a little bit of a secret. Usually I say that in my videos. And at this point of time, I think it's, I don't think that there's any areas where I think we can kind of sweep into and then bounce back up. So I'm a little bit hesitant with that. Trade routine is just winning. 31 votes, 53% to trade routine. Thank you, Evie. It's my skin is a little bit dry, to be fair, but on the with the light in my face, it still looks fine. But it could be better. But it's I've been sun kissed in the summer, so that's been great. Naji, no, I'm not that quick. But I will try it soon. I mean, I kind of need that. I mean, especially like during like 3 p.m., 4 p.m., my concentration and my focus really dips, right? And those are crucial hours in the market. Navid, I don't trade Forex anymore. I used to. Tool, XRP, no, I actually don't think XRP is that manipulated, to be fair. All right, we're going to start with the trade routine. So I'll focus a little bit more, and then afterwards we'll take a look at the chat again. But what we're going to be doing first is actually identifying some opportunities. So what I do when I'm trading is normally two things. So I have a list of coins that I always trade, right? So SUI, XRP, Dogecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin. I've already went through these, all right? So we're not going to be looking at those at this point of time. In my opinion, there's no relevant or no interesting trades, at least not at current levels, right? I mean, I think when you're looking at Ethereum, like 3,900 is a great buy area, I think. There we have the 382 FIB and we have the lowest fair value gap and also a high time frame support level. So that's interesting, but that's not interesting. That's not actual, right? I mean, if we actually get there, I'll know, and then I'll get ready. Same thing for SUI. I think SUI $3 and 2.95 is a very interesting buy area. There we have the lowest fair value gap. You have a strong psychological support level with $3. You have a strong key level in general at $3, and you have the yearly rolling VWAP. But again, you can see I have my price alert set. If the price actually dips down there, then I will set the trade. But at this point of time, I'm looking for some more recent trades. Beam showed a lot of interesting price action, but I think this is too manipulated. Cardano is actually looking into this because Cardano looked quite interesting because we are at a very strong support level here. And by the way, Cardano, my last video was still correct. In my last video, we spoke exactly about this. So if you really want like a 4 or 5 minutes video on Cardano, look that up. But also here, I mean, look, if I were to trade Cardano, the best trade would have been here at the yearly rolling VWAP or at the 90-day rolling VWAP. Right now, you're late for that, and there's also not that much momentum that I would say, all right, we're going to break out. While we do have a resistance right here at 86 cents, so I would not trade Cardano right now. The good trade is away, is gone. The next good trade is if we actually get a strong breakout above the 30-day rolling VWAP, but that doesn't seem likely, right? So any minute that we're looking at Cardano right now, if we want to trade it at least, is wasted, I would say. Now, XLM was quite interesting, and I'll let you into a secret on what I traded. One of the coins I traded, and this was also requested by some of you in the chat to look at, was Hedera, right? So I'm now in a long position in Hedera around 21.5 cents, right? So this is definitely not a position that's all said and done, and that's 100% going to bring me a return. But I can at least tell you it's now up 3%. Great, major profit. But the main reason why I bought Hedera is that, first of all, I think, well, I mean, the main reason is that we're just at a major support level right here, right? We're at a major support level, and I think talking about the broader market circumstances, we've seen quite a lot of bearish pressure in the general crypto market in the last 2 weeks. But then if I take a look at the other fundamentals, right, fundamentals in the general financial markets, I am not expecting a major breakdown for crypto, right? So if you look at altcoins, for example, if you take a look at others, you can see that others is very stable. This is basically, this is all altcoins bundled together. And this is quite stable, all right? And I don't expect a breakdown. So therefore, when I saw Hedera breaking down, I thought, all right, well, this seems unlikely that it's really going to break down. We have a major support level right here around the yearly rolling VWAP. Yearly rolling VWAP, one of the strongest supports out there. All right, but then it's also supported by the 3-day trend, which is this red line right here. And then if you go to the daily time frame, we also have a fair value gap. We have the previous value area high at 20 cents. 20 cents is a psychological support level. You have the 200 EMA, which in general, I mean, so far we have not dipped down into 20 cents and 20.5 cents, luckily. But there's so much support right there, and the fundamentals, in my opinion, do not support a crash much lower, at least not for now. I mean, fundamentals can change, but at least not for now. So that's why I bought. All right, and this is one of the strategies I'm using, basically after these major moves, right? So Hedera has had a major move. Being patient and waiting for levels like this. Like a different level where I would potentially also buy Hedera would be right here at 17.5 cents. But due to the fundamentals, like I said earlier, I think that's unlikely to be given. But okay, so that's kind of the standard list of coins that I'm trading. There's a couple of coins on my watch list that I am trading. Look, like this is, I think, an interesting opportunity. This is an opportunity that I want to talk about with all of you and that I want to tell you about, essentially. This is Polygon. All right, so this is the pair. What we've seen on the daily time frame is a high volume. You can see that here at the bottom. High volume breakout above a critical resistance level. This level right here at 26 cents was the value area high, the 200 EMA, and a respected normal resistance level. We broke above that with volume. How do you trade that? First of all, it was with so much momentum that you could have just bought the moment we broke out, right? I mean, you could have seen this breakout right here. We left an imbalance, but in this case, leaving an imbalance was actually a sign of strength, right? So you could have bought it right there. But I didn't. Back then, it was also Sunday morning. I did not catch it in time, and the circumstances were also not ideal. So how can we trade this right now? Well, there's one major trade that I see at this point of time. And that is, we've broken out with volume. So far, we've been able to hold that. So I see enough reasons for me to believe that this is a real breakout. I can be wrong, of course. But if you have a high volume breakout like this, and if we're able to hold it like this, and the market circumstances are how they are right now, normally a move like this will actually hold. So what I then do is I really zoom in. All right. So if you really zoom in onto Polygon right here, what you'll see is that there's actually more imbalances. There's an imbalance right here at 26.4 cents, and there are imbalances all the way at 25 cents. All right, well, we have established that this is a real breakout, but now the question is well, all right, well, you have these imbalances at 25 cents, and you have imbalances right here at 26 and 26.4. Which one of those two levels is most likely to be hit? If this is a real breakout, all right, is it likely that we are going to drop down all the way to 25 cents? I would say no. Maybe if we get bad news, but do we still want to take the trade if we get bad news? No. So personally, I'm looking at a trade, but as you can see again, I set a price alert right here. I'm looking at a trade to long Polygon at that 200 EMA, fair value gap, imbalance, value area high combo. You have a high confluence zone right there. The market circumstances, I think, are good enough to actually take this. And then I'm a relatively conservative trader right now. Where I would put my stop loss is below the high liquidity zone under here, which is the point of control right here at 23.8 cents. Place it below there. TP1, the risk reward is not great, but TP1 probably should still be just below 30 cents. But after that, you can aim for much higher. You can aim for 35 cents, and then you have a risk reward of 3.0. So this is a trade that I'm very interested in, and I think a lot is going for it. All right, and I wanted to showcase that real quick to all of you. There's a couple of other coins that I'm looking at right now, like Maker. So this is Maker, Maker USDT. I think on certain exchange. Wow, can I type or not? I think on certain exchanges it's called Sky USDT, Maker USDT, whatever. What the hell am I doing? USDT. There we go. So we got a lot of volume coming into this. I'm not sure how I want to trade this. One part of my brain is saying wait for the 30-day rolling VWAP to break, right? So that this is the main resistance level. Wait for this. And one part of my brain is saying, all right, well, just place limit orders down here, right? We left a fair value gap. There's some other support right here with the yearly rolling VWAP and the 7-day rolling VWAP. Just place some support, just place some limits at the 0.618 fib and go from there. I haven't fully made up my mind. This is something I'm still actively thinking about, right? I mean, I don't like to rush trades too much. So this is definitely an interesting coin, but at this point of time, I have nothing. Same with Walrus. Walrus is also at the top of my list, but I haven't traded this. Same with BGB, right? So BGB is the BitGet token. Very interesting coin to trade. I mean, you can see it's very volatile. And we also broke out, but because of the volatility and because I don't really understand how this coin moves, I'm not going to trade that. All right. And that's something I think is very important in trading as well. Look, there will always be opportunities. There's endless opportunities. Throughout the years that I've traded crypto, so many times I've said, oh, I missed that opportunity. That was the opportunity. But it's always true, or it has always been true, that new opportunities come. So this, I mean, I see this and I'm like, all right, I missed the obvious opportunity. The obvious opportunity would be to place a kind of fishy limit all the way down here. I missed that. Now the volume is much lower. I'm not going to trade this. I still think it's interesting. I'm not going to trade this for now. All right, but let's look at some other coins that potentially have some volume right here. So we might be able to identify some new opportunities. We're getting to the requests live, by the way. I'm not looking at the I'm not looking at the chat right now. So who knows what's going on in there? Hopefully you're all behaving a little bit. But yeah. So we'll see. Guus, that's it's a very personal question. I'm at least brought up that way. And my personal beliefs, that's between me and God, I'd say. NL gadgets. Let's do a couple of questions. NL gadgets. I'm not certain. Probably yes. I think I will trade that with leverage. But I always say leverage doesn't matter. Whether you trade it with leverage or not. What you should do if you're trading is you should set out an amount of money that you want to lose, all right? And that should be between 1 and 5% of your total capital. And then whether you trade that with spot or whether you trade that with futures, doesn't matter, as long as you lose that amount when the trade goes bad. So yeah. Navid, if you Navid, tag me on Telegram or Discord. I have my own indicator on TradingView that I can add you to, and then you can see that it's a private indicator, but just tag me and you'll be able to see. All right. Yeah. We'll get to requests in a moment. Let's actually see if there's anything interesting. So, look, if I do a quick screening of the market right here, what you can see is that something like Pendle is quite strong, Tau is quite strong, Hype is quite strong, Doge is quite strong. But I know all those coins, all right? I look at the screen almost the entire day, so I know what they look like, and I know that they're not very interesting right now. And I also don't see a huge amount of volume coming in for all of those. Look, I know the list of volume, and I know the coins that have most volume normally. And this is how the list normally looks like, right? So what I look for every day and a couple of times per day is some anomalies here, all right? So what has a lot of volume right now that normally doesn't have a lot of volume? And honestly, at this point of time, there's not much here. Syrup could be interesting, maybe. It's a great project. So this is Maple Finance, I think is the name of the project. Let me see. Syrup. This this initial move was quite interesting, because here you can see that from the value area low at 40 cents, which is also a psychological support level, we actually got a beautiful move up, retested the fair value gap, got a good reaction at the fair value gap, and now we've rallied higher. But there's not a lot of momentum, first of all, and then second of all, the next price target is at 53 cents, right? So when I'm looking at this is by the way Syrup. When I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, all right, well, should I enter right now? Should I enter right now? No. The next resistance level is right here at plus 5.5%. And there's no indication that we're going to break out above that at this point of time. And the next support level is at -8. So the risk reward sucks. Now, would I consider entering this lower if we fill this fair value gap, for example? Maybe, but usually I like to trade coins that actually have quite a lot of momentum, and for Syrup I just don't see that momentum. It's interesting. I'll keep it on my watch list, but I'm not going to trade this for now. I'm just going to keep an eye on this, and if we actually get some sort of a deeper pullback perhaps, or if we're going to get some sort of interesting price action, maybe then I'll trade it. But Syrup, I would add that to your watch list if I were you. All right, and then what I usually end with is Leviathan. Here you can actually see what has relative volume. So usually what I do to screen cryptos and to screen for coins that I think are interesting is I take a look at this chart here. I take a look at the right part of this chart, 1 week relative volume. And everything above 1 is interesting, but the higher above 1, the more interesting. So you can see something like Memecore, something like TA, something like Jelly My Jelly. Great names, crypto. Those coins have done very well, but those have already rallied a lot, which is normally not something I would like to trade. Again, going back to that same principle, there will be opportunities, more than you can trade. So, yeah. Bitcoin Cash looks very interesting right now. It has a lot of volume, and it has been in an uptrend, I think, since April. But I looked at it this morning, and I could not find any trades. So at this point of time, I also don't think we're going to find any trades there. Merlin Chain, look, if you see something like this, like Merlin Chain with a huge amount of volume is up 600% or something. Usually, no, 400%, I think. Usually that's manipulated, and I also don't like to trade that too much. Same thing with Somi. Somi is down 70%. Ugh, that's not great. Ondo has quite a lot of volume because I had that product launch today. Do I see something else that actually has some interesting volume right now? Virtual is potentially interesting. I saw that it was outperforming the markets over the course of today as well. So this is I have to delete that. Virtual, maybe. This could be interesting. So this is this, right? So the thing is there is more volume coming into virtual, and I saw somewhere today that it was outperforming the markets as well. So an interesting setup, just from the top of my head, would be something like this. Right, so you have a key level right here, you have the 7-day rolling VWAP right there. Maybe if we're able to reclaim this level right here at 1.17 with more volume, I need to see more volume. I mean, if you look at the volume right here, okay, it's a little bit higher today, but ultimately it's not that high. Fair value gap, yeah, virtual is actually quite interesting, but with no trades at this point of time. Maybe if we're able to reclaim 1.16, but we'll see. This is something that's still in development. So we'll have to see if it actually is able to push through. But interesting virtuals. Proof, BitGet token, quite a lot of volume. There's not too much. Idle, a lot of volume. Sentry, a lot of volume. Those are all manipulated, I know from experience. MYX, Maker, we already looked at that. Tether Gold, of course. Tutorial, that's you don't want to be trading that. Hi-Fi, a lot of volume. Hashflow, look, Hashflow, I looked at this earlier today as well. Not sure if I'll be able to see. So Hashflow, bit of a manipulated coin, but I think this is interesting. I mean, Hashflow, as you can see right here on the higher time frames, is gaining some is gaining some momentum right here. I think if Hashflow is able to get some sort of a strong breakout here above the 30-day rolling VWAP and potentially 10 cents, which is the main resistance level right now, I think this can rally, but this is quite a manipulated coin. But Hashflow, that's HFT. But outside of that, it's a relatively quiet market. I mean, we've looked through quite a lot of coins right now, and honestly, at this point of time, I would say that Polygon trade, potential trade that we looked at earlier, I think this still looks the best. But yeah, there's some other coins that we talked about as well, but those that's my quick trading routine for right now. So that's basically, in all transparency, what I do a couple of times per day. I just go over all the charts, go over all the coins that I find interesting, and I look for trades, right? And that's it. And I look at the daily time frame, I look at the 3-day time frame, I look at the 12-hour time frame, I look at the 4-hour time frame. And then if something is very interesting, we'll look at the 30-minute time frame, and we'll try to identify some lower time frames opportunities. Okay, let's do some requests. All right, I'm not going to make this video too long because I do have to walk the dog after this, but let's get right into it. So there's a couple of things. There's a couple of things that were requested. So I'm starting from the top. Barra chain was requested quite early. I can already tell you that I'm most likely going to be bearish on this. Yes, look at this. Look, we had an uptrend, right? And this uptrend was respected. We've broken down below that, and we're losing momentum. And we had a bearish divergence here. So I think Barra can actually stabilize here. I think we can see a move into 2.55. Where we have some imbalances, and just in general, we're at a decent support level. But ultimately, I think it's most likely that Barra is going to remain stable around 2.5 and 2.4. And then after that, potentially get a move into 2.15 and $2. But this has lost momentum. We've had a bearish divergence right here, and it's lost the uptrend, right? It's lost the uptrend on the 12-hour time frame, and on the daily time frame, we never really were in one. Next one, Kronos. So Kronos has found some strong support right here. I don't think this support is strong enough. All right, so you can see we got a nice bounce right here from 25 cents. I still think it's most likely that although this momentum can endure for a bit, we can get some stability. I still think it's most likely for Kronos to drop down into 24 and 22 cents. Which again, same thing as for... what was it? Same thing as for Cardano. I also have a full video on Kronos that's still relevant, all right, which I uploaded yesterday. So make sure to check that out if you're interested in that. Pendle, I looked at this at this morning. Pendle is very interesting. I mean, there's not many charts that look like this. And what happens very often with Pendle is that it retraces almost the entire move, and then it rallies up again. And it looks quite likely that that's again going to happen, because you can see on the daily time frame, we drop down below this resistance level right here at $5, and we drop down below the daily trend, which is that red line. So we dropped down below that, found some support, but we're now bouncing against that. But then at the bottom of the fair value gap that we made at the beginning of August, you have a massive support level right here with the 200 EMA, the yearly rolling VWAP, and the trend line. So I think this area right here at 4.2 and 4.1 is very interesting for Pendle. I think short term we're going to remain relatively neutral. We're going to drop down into that, and then from there I do expect a bounce. And then depending on how strong that bounce is, we can either see a new leg up, or we're just going to get a good reaction there and consolidate a bit higher. Now, someone was talking a lot about Solana. Look, I made a video on Solana this morning, guys. Come on, you cannot request things that I made a video on this morning. You cannot do that. Thank you, Boris. It's my parents. it's my parents' kitchen. But no, I mean, quick thoughts on Solana here, without kidding, is this, all right? And potentially even this, right? We broke out above 205, 202. Good breakout with quite a lot of strength. I think we're going to remain stable, and I think we're slowly going to move into 225. Guys, if you're going to spam things, I'm going to restrict you. I have to do it. Naji, Athena. I'm going to do a couple more requests, and then I'm going to walk the dog. It's needed. I mean, he's making noises from the back of the screen. He cannot hold it in for too much longer. But Athena. Let me see. I think Athena is actually near a major. So this is the last video I made, or the last analysis I made on Athena. I still think this. Look, we got a good bounce right here. Strong support level, 62 cents. But what's even stronger than that support level is the resistance we have under 76 cents. Right? If you go on the higher time frames, you can see that that's a very strong resistance level, especially on the daily time frame right here. Very strong level, very respected. And at this point of time, I mean, you can see it down here, but you can also see it with the leverage and with the RSI. The price is getting there again, but the volume is much lower, and the RSI is also much lower. So I don't think we're going to break out. So in that sense, I think Athena has been quite strong, and I think that strength is good to actually get some more stability. I don't think we're going to break out. All right, so I think we're actually closer to the top than the bottom, to be fair. Let me see some of the. Let me see some of the recent requests. Alexotique, Beam, I don't know. After the move that we had with Beam, I have no idea. All right, it's some very weird price action is going there. I noticed that a lot of liquidity of Arrow was going into B3. Into B3? Is B3 still alive? I didn't know that. Yeah, some of the liquidity, just liquidity being added. Because I see nothing. I don't see a lot of bullish momentum. Tron, okay, Tron. Someone really wants me to analyze Tron, so we will. Is this my last chart? Yeah, so Tron, uptrend, strong, a little bit scammy, of course. No, I mean Tron looks fine. Tron has been in a bit of a meme uptrend, of course, because it's been the forever uptrend. But I don't see any reason at this point of time why it would not continue. We're at the daily trend right now. Maybe we're going to consolidate. It's a weird chart, all right? To be fair, I don't really feel comfortable saying too much about this because I don't have an active analysis on this. It is in an uptrend. It looks like we are forming a little bit more of a consolidation like we also did in May and June. So be aware of that. Which means we can also drop down into 32.5 cents. I think it's a little bit more likely that we're going to get into some sort of a consolidation here before we can actually get the next leg up. All right, two more, Arkham and Say. All right, those two more we're going to be looking at, and then it's time for the dog, guys. It's time for the dog. Come on, and I have some other things to do as well later today. So we have to do that. But okay, Arkham. Let's look at that. Arkham. Well, Daniel, there's not much going on here. Let me see. We're at the bottom of the range. I guess that's good. We just hit the value area low. Look, because of what I think about crypto in general at this point of time, I would say it's most likely that we will be able to form some sort of a bottom here. Maybe do something like this, but form some sort of a bottom, and that we will be able to move up higher into 55 cents. So I do think this is most likely, but this is I think this is most likely because I think in general altcoins are going to get a move like this. And if I look at Arkham specifically here, if I look at the open interest, if I look at the volume, if I think about the fundamentals around Arkham, I don't see a reason why it would pump at this point of time. But things can change rapidly. But at this point of time, I would say this is most likely. But it's not a coin I would personally focus on too much at this point of time. But there's a reason that you ask. And if you're holding Arkham at this point, if you're holding Arkham, I would hold. Last one, Say. It's been a while since I covered it. Ooh, Say, what is this doing? Very interesting. We're at the previous value area high right here at 26.8 cents. Oh, this is difficult because it's quite clear that we capped at 37 and 34 cents. And initially at the beginning of August, we got a very strong reaction right here from this fair value gap plus the value area high right here. So right here we got a very strong reaction. Now we're at that level again, and basically in this entire period of time we have continued to lose momentum. So we're going to look, I do think, and this is again in line with what I expect from general altcoins, I do think we can see a bounce here, but I think the risk for Say of getting a drop into this level right here at 24 and 22.5 cents, when we have a previous fair value gap, we still have some old imbalances there. I think the risk of dropping down into that in the next couple of months is actually quite high. So be aware of that, be ready for that. For now, I think we're going to hold 27 cents as support, and I think we can actually expect some sort of a bounce from there as well. All right, that's it. If you tuned in later at the start of this video, I think the first 25 minutes, we actually did a full overview of the markets. We did a trade routine, and we also talked about some potential trade setups. So if you're interested in that, then check that out again. I have to walk the dog right now. Hopefully some of you found some value in the coins that were requested. I'm going to try to do this weekly. All right, so hopefully we're going to be able to do streams like this weekly. Hopefully you'll enjoy that. We also still have some major data coming out later this week, so maybe I'll be live again. And I'll see you there again. And otherwise, I hope to see you in either my next videos, in the Telegram group, in the Discord group, whatever. But I'll see you again. For now, have a great day.